British cycle team, but it's not.
They love it.
Absolutely sweating bullets, having to work extremely hard. They are the engine room to adjust these big sails, so if they stop, the boat stops.
Here we go. And
There's not too much in this race number 6 of the match. Ineos Britannia, who won race number 5, have really controlled this race, which is what they would have wanted to do. Capitalise somewhat on some of the errors by Emirates Team New Zealand, and with 2 legs to go, that second win is getting a little bit closer.
The race is getting a little tighter. Any team gets this next wind shift right out of either side of the course, take a gain or a loss, so very dynamic at the moment.
You can almost hear a pin drop there, can't you, in the fan zone? Ineos can, though, there'll be a pin drop there, they'll just be yelling and yahooing, why would you? They still lead in race 6 of the match.
I'm a little wide slope.
Well, there is more pressure where Ineos Britannia is, but we heard Pete Burling discuss that right-hand shift, and that would put Emirates Team New Zealand in a really favourable spot.
Clearance, lads, we're in the water. Just trying to make candidates forwards and homes. No worries, guys, just keep it going here.
There's a little touchdown there for the British team. It was their fastest tap, exiting out of that one. Still in a comfortable position though, but only just hanging on by their fingernails.
Yeah, Emirates Team New Zealand doing a really good job here of just keeping it tight, keeping the pressure on Ineos Britannia. Those manoeuvres becoming more and more tense.
Definitely happy to continue if they don't hit.
Decision here for Ineos, whether they attack on them.
And that is with regards to
playing our game now.
This is the race committee. We are moving the finish line, shortening the final leg to 1.3 nautical miles.
Big push, guys, I need traveller.
So Emirates Team New Zealand will be wanting Ineos Britannia to engage, start rolling this and tax, put the pressure on them. British will be wanting to just sail fast into the breeze shift that they're wanting. So
Kiwis are confident of their manoeuvres. We've seen in the last few days making gains, losing less speed with every tap.
Kusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka. Sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tutakuomba utuajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakaofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, the House has not quorated yet for the business to be able to commence or the sitting of the Senate to commence. And that is why we have that particular quorum bell currently underway, just to alert the members of the Senate who may be within the precincts of Parliament, but yet to make their way into the chambers to at least hasten their steps and be able to join their colleagues inside the chambers to be able to allow the House raise that much needed quorum for the House to be able to commence its business. And the business lined up for consideration this morning, as is the tradition, appearance of Cabinet Secretary before the plenary sitting, to respond to various concerns raised by members. These questions are usually forwarded to the Cabinet Secretary prior to their appearance on the floor of the House. And this morning, much as the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration had already been invited for the question, there are concerns that the members of the Senate in Tuesday afternoon sitting raised with regards to the mysterious death of the 31-year-old blogger, that is Albert Ojwang, who died in police custody. These are concerns that the members of the Senate raised and calling for the appearance or having the top security organs appear before the Senate. Now, the business of the day will commence as usual. However, in a motion that will be moved by the leader of the majority party, the House will be suspended, or rather will suspend its proceedings for not more than 2 hours. This is in order to be able to allow senators to efficiently interrogate the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, who, as is appearing this morning before the plenary sitting, will be accompanied by the Inspector General of Police and the chairperson of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority and the National Police Service Commission regarding the concerns that the members had raised in Tuesday afternoon sitting. That saw the Speaker make that directive for the appearance of the top security organs. Now, during the motion, when the members or the security apparatus will be appearing before the Senate, the mess will be lowered, as is normally during a committee of the whole. However, this is with regards to the consideration over the matters that the members will, or rather raised yesterday. And the Cabinet Secretary will not be sitting at the front, or rather the right side of the Speaker. However, we shall be seeing them taking their positions at the back, that is right immediately next to the entrance of the Senate chambers, and they will be able to respond to the questions or concerns that the members of the Senate, as they convene this morning, will be having regarding the safety and well-being of arrested persons in police custody, and in particular the circumstances surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang. So the business this morning will commence as normal, but later the mess which is normally raised up there at the dispatch will be lowered, as is in a committee of the whole, for this particular motion, or for the invited guests to be able to engage the House on the questions or the concerns that the senators have this morning. So if you're just joining us, is that the House is about to commence its business. The quorum of the House has not been raised yet. There is a quorum hitch. We have just seen the leader of the majority party counting the members already inside the chambers to see whether the quorum has been raised yet. However, if that quorum bell is not on, then clearly it means that the quorum has not been raised. But as you can see at the entrance of the chambers, members making their way inside. Once that quorum is raised, then we shall be able to let you in into the proceedings that will be taking place this morning. As is the tradition, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, who had earlier on been invited or was expected to appear before the Senate to respond to concerns by the members, coincidentally happened that this morning will be required to be accompanied by top security apparatus in the country, and that is the Inspector General of Police, the chairperson of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, and the National Police Service Commission. All this stemming from the concerns that have been raised by the senators on matters of well-being and safety of Kenyans in police custody. And of course, you will recall that all this has been with regards to the circumstances that surround the death of Albert Ojwang on Tuesday, as the members of the Senate responded to statements or a statement by one of their own regarding the situation on the death of Albert Ojwang, vehemently condemned that particular situation or occurrence, indicating that the late Ojwang, much as he had been arrested, would have been taken to the local police station in Homa Bay County, and the proceedings or the matters with regards to any issues concerning his arrest and any accusations or charges that were being leveled against him be handled from the local courts, and were raising concerns on why he had to be transferred all the way to Nairobi, and thereon, or rather thereafter, his untimely demise. So those are concerns that the members of the Senate this morning will be seeking answers to, and not just from the Cabinet Secretary, but also from the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, who will be accompanying the Cabinet Secretary to help him give responses or explanations to that particular issue, as the members of the Senate will be interrogating the Cabinet Secretary to be able to get answers to the questions or the concerns that members of the public also have. And the session or the sitting, as you can see, has commenced. Normally, we are just waiting for the quorum to be attained. Remember, during the interrogation time inside the Senate chambers, the mass will be lowered, but the Speaker will stick to his position where he normally sits and be able to guide the proceedings. And of course, we expect that the Speaker as well, before the whole session begins, will give a communication to the members of the Senate to be able to make the public understand on the program, or how they allow me to hand it over to the business.
Take your seats. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order, please.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Next order. Next order.
Order number 8, the Business Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 51 of 2024. Second reading, mover to reply.
Majority Leader, being the mover of this business, you may now proceed to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank all the colleagues who took time to speak to this very, very fundamental bill with regards to making Kenya a globally competitive business hub. Mr. Speaker, like I mentioned when I was moving this bill, this is perhaps the most bold of reforms that we have seen in creating Kenya into a competitive business environment and making sure that we can compete globally. And I observed, Mr. Speaker, that there is nothing out of the ordinary that we're actually doing as a country. We are doing what others have been able to do and ended up being better than us, even in spaces that we excelled in. There are countries, Mr. Speaker, that came here in the 60s, 70s, in the 80s, copied the things that you are doing, and have now since done them better than us, and have their sectors actually performing better than ours, thanks to perfect implementation of laws as they are. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to many colleagues when they spoke to this bill, we don't seem to appreciate that the world is evolving and doing so at an extremely fast pace, Mr. Speaker, and therefore presenting us with the need to ensure that as a society, as a country, we do things like they are done in other parts of the world. Mr. Speaker, there seems to be a lack of realization on our part as a country that when those with the means and the ways to move the economies of the world sit down in their offices in the poshy capitals of the world, they don't look at us from an empathy perspective. They look at us in form of numbers. How competitive are we? How easy is it to do business in this country, Mr. Speaker? And there are so many bureaucratical bottlenecks, Mr. Speaker, that reduce us and have made us to be a laughing stock. Many people, Mr. Speaker, if you speak to people in the business world, and I have seen, if you recall, Mr. Speaker, last year, I think you led us in Mombasa. We had engagement with KEPSA, Mr. Speaker. And you listen to the kind of things they were telling us, why they feel that as a country, as parliament, that is the legislature, we need to up our game and ensure, Mr. Speaker, that we amend the various laws, Mr. Speaker, to make them compliant with the demands of the 21st century. And therefore, I listened to the colleagues that shared their thoughts, with quite a number of them proposing various further amendments, which I want to appreciate. I hope that all the senators that actually spoke and proposed amendment to this bill will ensure that they file them, Mr. Speaker, so that as we move towards voting in the committee of the whole, which probably I suspect should be when we return from the recess, Mr. Speaker, we are actually able to do it, Mr. Speaker. So I appreciate and I want to urge senators, maybe those who may not have had time to contribute to this bill, it's still important that you read it. This is an extremely important bill. It's one of the things that you'll be extremely proud of yourself later on when you look at reports from sectoral performance, from tourism, horticulture, agriculture subsector, because all those parts of, many of those laws are being actually amended to make sure that our sectors compete with the very best in the world, including BPO space, which we do so well. We have the ability, Senator Catherine, to be extremely competitive. People keep on asking us, with no offense to Indians and Philippines, that we speak better English than them. And they don't understand why our BPO space employs over and above probably 100,000 Kenyans, while in those two countries, they do, at the very minimum, 3 to 4 million people, something that we can compete with. And they have led us into listening and appreciating the things that we need to change. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope that colleagues will take time, those who didn't comment on this bill, to still read it and perhaps share amendments, because we still have time, Mr. Speaker, before we do third reading, most likely which will be after we return. With those main remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order number 66.3, I beg to request that the putting of a question be deferred until a later time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable Senators, allow me to make a communication. Honorable Senators, I have a communication to make regarding the meeting between the Senate and the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior and National Administration, the Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, on the circumstances surrounding the death of Mr. Albert Omondi Ojwang at the Central Police Station in Nairobi City County. Now, Honorable Senators, as you may recall, during the sitting of the Senate held yesterday, Tuesday, the 10th of June, 2025, the Senator from Migori County, Senator Eddie Okech, sought a statement pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the unfortunate death of Mr. Albert Omondi Ojwang while in custody at the Central Police Station in Nairobi. Pursuant to Standing Order 53-3, I allowed senators to make comments on the statement sought by Senator Eddie Okech. All senators who spoke on this matter expressed grave concern over the inhumane treatment and resultant death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while at the police station. The senators demanded for urgent action from the relevant government agencies, particularly the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior and National Administration, the Inspector General of Police, and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Subsequently, following the comments by honorable senators on the statement, and in view of the urgent nature of the matter, which is of a nationwide concern, considering the expression of grief by the public, I directed that the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior and National Administration appears before the Senate, accompanied by the Inspector General of Police, the Chairperson of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, and the Chairperson of the National Police Service Commission to respond to the concerns from senators for and on behalf of the people they represent. The matter at hand relates to the safety and well-being of persons in custody at police stations across the country, and in particular the circumstances surrounding the unwarranted treatment and grotesque death of Mr. Ojwang. Honorable Senators, as you may be aware, Wednesday mornings are reserved for questions to Cabinet Secretaries. However, special arrangements must be made for the Senate to engage with the Cabinet Secretary and his team on this particular issue. Consequently, I will very shortly allow the Senate Majority Leader to move a motion for the temporary suspension of this sitting pursuant to Standing Order 38. The period of suspension of the sitting shall not exceed 2 hours. This time will be used for the Senate to engage with the Cabinet Secretary and his team, after which normal business, as scheduled in the order paper, will resume, beginning with questions scheduled for reply by the Cabinet Secretary. You will acknowledge that this is indeed an unprecedented occurrence in the Senate. It is, however, necessary that this route is taken to allow for the necessary flexibility to get a report on the concrete action being undertaken by the Cabinet Secretary and his team for the senators to effectively interrogate the matter. During the session with the Cabinet Secretary and his team, the proceedings will be open. Media access will be granted, and so is the live broadcasting of the session. Accordingly, the Hansard editor is directed to prepare a special report thereon. So, Majority Leader, you may now proceed to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion, which is a temporary suspension of a sitting pursuant to Standing Order number 38. That pursuant to Standing Order number 38-1, the Senate do suspend its proceedings for not more than 2 hours in order to allow senators to efficiently interrogate the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, the Inspector General of Police, the chairpersons of the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, and of the National Police Service Commission regarding the safety and the well-being of arrested persons in police custody, and in particular the circumstances surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang. Yesterday afternoon, Mr. Speaker, we made a resolution as a House, and I must really appreciate you, Mr. Speaker, for accommodating the views of senators when we say that we must not only appear to be doing something, but we actually must do something. Honorable colleagues, the country looks up to us at such a time as this, where a 31-year-old young father was picked up by people known to be law enforcement officers and subsequently booked into a police station, and then the report gets hazy after that. The next thing we know, the young man is lying at a morgue. Mr. Speaker, if there was ever a time that we needed to rise to the occasion as a House and ensure that we do justice for the people that we represent in this House, this is such the time, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we have made this request that you allow us, Mr. Speaker, to break from the normal session where we will ask the Cabinet Minister seated there to just respond to us. But because there are other people that we want to hear from, Mr. Speaker, particularly the chairperson of IPOA, Mr. Speaker, because there have been one too many deaths of civilians in the hands of police officers, Mr. Speaker. And those circumstances have been documented here. Members have raised statements with many such instances, Mr. Speaker. And we want to hear from them the report, how many people have so far been charged, why does investigation take so long, Mr. Speaker, what are the challenges, is there anything that as a House, Mr. Speaker, because we are a law-making entity, is it for want of sufficient laws, Mr. Speaker, that those who misuse their firearms, Mr. Speaker, are not charged? We'd wish to understand that from the gentleman who is appearing before us on behalf of IPOA. We have the Police Service Commission chairperson. This is an entity created by statute, Mr. Speaker, to handle issues of discipline, promotion, and whatnot, Mr. Speaker, in the police service. And there are many questions that arise, in particular on the conduct of police officers, Mr. Speaker. And it will be important that the Senate, on behalf of the country, is made aware of how many such incidents have been reported and what are they as a police service doing about it. There are many things that this House has raised in the past, Mr. Speaker, on the conduct of police, which this morning we finally have the opportunity to listen to. But more particularly, Mr. Speaker, is this death that has struck the conscience of the nation and brought everybody all out, any Kenyan of goodwill, to want to know what really happened. And you know, Mr. Speaker, like I observed just as a last comment, because I don't want to take time, want to listen to the people that are appearing before us, Mr. Speaker, we were reminded yesterday that when we had the unfortunate demise of one of our colleagues, there was such serious attention to that particular matter that almost on an hourly basis, we were being briefed as a country of what happened. The motorbike that followed him, the vehicle registration, the occupants, their details. It didn't take more than 24 hours, Mr. Speaker. As it is today, there's very little that we know. I think to the best of my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, I've only seen the names of the officers who were on duty at the Central Police Station. Up to now, nobody knows who are the officers that picked young Albert Ojwang from Migori, how he was driven, what was his status when he arrived at Central Police Station. Those are things which, as a leader, you want to know, Mr. Speaker, so that you begin to appreciate the things that are before us. It is important to also hear from the Police Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, because there is a particular complex matter of the Deputy Inspector General, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Langat is a gentleman I know, a very diligent officer, but he finds himself in a situation that I don't envy. When you're the deputy of an institution and you make a complaint, which is the right thing to do, that when you feel your rights have been violated, you make a complaint. But unfortunately, the situation gets complicated by the fact that officers who report to him went and picked this particular young man, and that particular young man died under very mysterious circumstances. Mr. Speaker, it would have been neater if it was up to me to advise Mr. Langat, that nobody has said that you're guilty. But for the country to appreciate, and for myself, even as your friend, to appreciate and be clear of my conscience that what really happened, that you step aside until investigations are concluded, Mr. Speaker, so that we appreciate and we know what really happened. Otherwise, as it is, no person of good conscience, even if you are to remain and stand firm and the things that are being said about it, absolving you, but that is just, it's not in my place. It's the chairperson of the Police Service Commission to tell us how such matters are to be handled, Mr. Speaker. If it was a separate institution that was handling, then by very well reporting and making reports, Mr. Speaker, about what happened, people will have appreciated that he did the right thing. I don't want to indulge, Mr. Speaker, into the pros and the cons of what is before us, Mr. Speaker. What is important is senators to take this time to appreciate what is before us, a very solemn moment for the country, and for the country to watch and listen and get to learn. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move this motion and request the Senator for Kitui, the Deputy Leader of Minority, to second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity to second the motion as moved by the Majority Leader, the suspension of debate, to listen to and interrogate the CS in charge of security, the chair of the National Police Service, the chair of IPOA, and the Inspector General of Police on matters in security, and specifically the murder of Albert Omondi Ojwang. Mr. Speaker, one person that is glued on their television this morning is the father of Albert. We have an opportunity that perhaps he doesn't have. Whatever it is that you're going to do, Mr. Speaker, when those officers appear before us, we must know that our first responsibility is to the father of Albert to get answers for him. Who killed his son? And why was that son killed? Mr. Speaker, I think if we can achieve that within the first 20, 30 minutes, we'll begin the process of closure for a father who is mourning his son. The Speaker, there are children, school children in Taita Taveta who are glued on their televisions and they want to know who killed their teacher and why their teacher was killed. Speaker, these are very, very heavy assignment that we have today. We must, all of us, rise to the occasion, Mr. Speaker, and transact this matter in the most objective way that we can ever do. We make sure that we get answers for Kenyans and for the family, relatives, and friends of Albert. The Speaker, as I conclude, there is an aspect in this incident that we need to get clarity on. Those of us who have interacted with the National Police Service, we know, Mr. Speaker, that there is always this operational tiff between CID officers and the regular police officers. You know, the CID officers don't have cells of their own. So they arrest whoever they arrest, and they book them in cells in police stations. The Speaker, the officers that arrested Albert, were they from the regular police or were they from the CID department? And when they arrested him, where they arrested him, was Nairobi Central Police Station the first destination in Nairobi? Or is it possible that this young man was tortured and beaten up, almost killed in a different place, and brought to the station almost dead? Mr. Speaker, these are important questions for us to ask so that we direct and assign responsibility where it belongs. I associate myself fully with the comments of the Majority Leader in relation to the DIG, Mr. Lagat, who is also known to me. Mr. Speaker, perhaps what he did in reporting harassment, perhaps the reporting was the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. To report that I feel harassed, somebody is really attacking me, that's the right thing to do. But what followed after that, Mr. Speaker? And for purposes of closure, for purposes of bringing calm in the country, perhaps what the DIG should have done by now is to say, I acted in good faith, and as a demonstration of that good faith and continuation of that good faith, I'm leaving office. Let investigations continue. If I'm found culpable, I should be taken to court. If I am exonerated, I go back to service because I did the right thing. That is how you bring closure to a matter like this. Mr. Speaker, my whip is telling me we need to start, and I agree with him. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable Senators, I will now propose the question that pursuant to Standing Order 38.1, the Senate do suspend its proceedings for not more than 2 hours in order to allow senators to efficiently interrogate the Cabinet Secretary for Interior National Administration, the Inspector General of Police, the chairpersons of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority and that of the National Police Service Commission regarding the safety and well-being of arrested persons in police custody, and in particular the circumstances surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang. Now, Honorable Senators, this is a procedural motion. We need not debate on it. With your concurrence, I may proceed to put the question. Thank you. I will therefore proceed to put the question. That pursuant to Standing Order 38.1, the Senate do suspend its proceedings for not more than 2 hours in order to allow senators to efficiently interrogate the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, the Inspector General of Police, and the chairpersons of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority and that of the National Police Service Commission regarding the safety and well-being of arrested persons in police custody, and in particular the circumstances surrounding the death of Albert Ojwang. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, Clerk, you, as the Sergeant at Arms, Lord the Mess, kindly usher in the CS and his team.
Well, the business of the House has commenced, and we have seen the leader of the majority move the motion to have the House temporarily suspended, or rather the sitting temporarily suspended, of course, to allow the senators efficiently interrogate the Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, with his team. Right now, what we are waiting for is for them to be ushered in. We have seen the Sergeant-at-Arms setting up the stand that is right at the entrance of the Senate chambers. That is where the team or the security personnel that will be appearing before the Senate this morning will be taking their positions. The communication from the Speaker indicated that this will be a live broadcast. Of course, the media is also allowed in to be able to follow up on the proceedings. That is the Cabinet Secretary taking his position, the IG, and once the Cabinet Secretary and his team have taken their positions, then the proceedings will continue. We have seen the mess being covered. That is, if the House is the sitting is suspended, normally the mess is covered, and that gives room for the Cabinet Secretary and any other person aside from the senators to be able to walk into the chamber and sit the positions that have been set aside for them to be able to work on the business that has led to their appearance before the Senate. Remember, this morning, as is the tradition, the Cabinet Secretary would have appeared for questioning, but arising from the concerns on the death of Albert Ojwang in police custody that has seen public uproar, the Senate, in a resolution, decided to invite the Cabinet Secretary, the Inspector General of Police, the chairpersons for Independent Policing Oversight Authority, as well as the National Police Service Commission chairperson, to come and shed light on the circumstances under which Albert Ojwang lost his life. Remember, he had been arrested from Homa Bay County and was transferred all the way to Nairobi. And these are questions that not just the members of the Senate would want to understand or get answers to, but the public as well, and also the family of the late Ojwang. So this is a session that will see the members of the Senate on behalf of the public seek answers to the concerns. Once the House is ready to commence this particular business, of course, we shall be able to let you in to listen and follow on the proceedings. But we understand that this particular business, okay, allow me to hand you over to the proceedings.
Interior and his team in the House?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we do.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome the CS, Interior and National Administration, and your team to the Senate. Now, Honorable CS, you were to appear today for purposes of responding to 15 questions that had been posed by honorable senators. However, this morning we've had to suspend the sittings of the Senate to address a matter that is extremely urgent and is of a nationwide concern. That is the matter touching on the death of one Mr. Albert Omondi Ojwang. And therefore, we have suspended the sitting of the Senate for not more than 2 hours so that we interrogate this particular matter. Thereafter, we will resume the normal flow of the order paper of the day by allowing you to respond to the questions that are scheduled for you to respond today. Once the 2 hours are done on interrogating this particular matter, you will be requested to move to the other side of the chamber where ordinarily CSs respond to questions in the Senate. So yesterday I did direct that the CS appears with the Inspector General, with the chairperson of the National Police Service Commission, and also the chairperson of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Can we have a confirmation that those parties are also present, Clerk? I've just asked something. Let the clerk answer the question, then I will give you an opportunity.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I confirm they are present in the House.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Boni.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for this unprecedented decision. But, Mr. Speaker, we don't want to do anything this morning in vain, because Parliament does not speak in vain. Having suspended the sittings of the House, you can see the mess has been now insulated. It has got legal implications. It means, therefore, Mr. Speaker, technically, whatever we shall transact during these 2 hours will not count. I would like you to clarify to the House, to the country, and especially to the family of Albert Omondi, why Senate wants to sit for 2 hours to transact business that will not technically count.
Senator Boni, if you listen to my communication, the last paragraph was to that effect, that whatever is going to be transacted in this particular session will input the report of the Standing Committee on Defense, on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. Because if you're aware, if you're here yesterday, this matter was committed to that committee. However, honorable senators wanted to engage directly with the CS and his team. I have directed that the Hansard editor to compile a report, which report will be made available to the Standing Committee on Defense, on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. As they prepare their report, that report is going to benefit from whatever will transpire in this particular session. And therefore, this particular session is not in vain. In fact, it is going to play a major role in shaping the report that will be tabled before this House. Having directed so, yes.
Honorable Speaker, understanding that we are sitting as a committee of the whole, I want to kindly request that before any of the gentlemen appearing before anything, including their names, they be put under oath. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Senator Wambua.
Thank you, the Speaker. The Speaker, but mine is just clarity from the Chair. Follow up to what Senator Alwala is saying. So, at the end of this session, are we going to have a resolution of the Senate or resolutions from this sitting that will be binding? That will be binding to the committee to which then this matter has been directed.
Yes, Senator Fernandez.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. I raise under Standing Order 183 because we need clarity, borrowing on what Senator Sifuna and Senator Kalwala have said. When all matters referred to a committee of the whole have been considered, the chairperson shall be directed by motion to report to the Senate. Mr. Speaker, you are the one, and of course, I believe in your capacity and ability to chair, but my only concern, I know we can establish traditions and precedent, that our Standing Order under 183 directs that the chairperson of the committee of the whole will be directed by the motion of the Senate to be prepared. So my question, would it be you or the chairperson of national security, so that you are the neutral arbiter, so that when the motion will be moved with the resolution of the Senate under your Solomonic guidance, which you did yesterday, I think there needs to be clarity, because now that the mess is no longer there, and this is the committee of the whole, and I'm well versed with the establishment and the ground rules of the committee of the whole, Mr. Speaker, will it be in order that now that we have transit as a committee of the whole, with all tremendous respect for the chairperson of national security, which will be directed by Standing Order number 183 to prepare the report. So we need that clarity, Mr. Speaker, so that when we are finishing, after interrogating the Ministry of Interior on this issue of national importance, we can have clarity. That is only my clarification, Mr. Speaker, sir. But I'm aware of your powers in Standing Order number 1 of the Standing Orders of the Senate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, honorable senators, for purposes of bringing clarity to this session, this is not a committee of the whole. The House is suspended. We have just suspended the sittings of the Senate pursuant to Standing Order 38. And therefore, this is not a committee of the whole. I don't need to report after this to any other person, or a motion will not be caused or ensue after this session. We have suspended the sittings of this House so that we can have a session with the CS and his team. Now, honorable senators, I repeat, this matter has been committed to the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. However, having listened to your concerns, the concerns yesterday was that all senators wanted a direct interrogation with the team. And procedurally, this was the only way we could allow the entire House to interrogate the CS and his team. We are not sitting as a committee of the whole. Let's get that clear. Yes, DS.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity also to raise a clarification. Mr. Speaker, this matter is beyond now National Security Committee. The matter that has affected Albert Ojwang is now also a human rights issue. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm requesting with the wisdom whether also the chair, the Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and the Human Rights Committee also to be involved in this discussion, Mr. Speaker, because that committee should really be seized on what happened to Albert Ojwang Omondi. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's get started.
So when we resume the official sitting of the Senate and such a request is made, I will certainly give guidance on that particular matter. Honorable, yes, Chair.
Mr. Speaker, I'm just seeking clarification. We have summoned the team that is before the House tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Now, having this deliberation, does it mean that they will not appear before the committee? We will go by the resolution of the House. Maybe we need direction on this. Thank you.
Now, Honorable Dulo, no resolution will be passed in this particular session. And whatever is going to happen in this session will only serve to input whatever the committee will be doing. So the committee should go and proceed with its sittings uninterrupted, but is going to benefit from the interaction that we're going to have in this session. Yes, Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, as a senator of Homa Bay, where the gentleman who was killed by the police comes from, I'm concerned if you are going to prosecute this like a Kamkunji. Mr. Speaker, please give us the assurance that we shall go pursuant to Article 125 of the Constitution and examine the witnesses on oath. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we go the Kamkunji route, we are going to get political statements. We are going to be told people hit their heads on walls, and there'll be no consequences. So, Mr. Speaker, please, you have given directions that the House has been suspended, but please, let's enforce the issue of oath. That will give some comfort to the people of Homa Bay, to the parents, to the people who are watching, and will bind the witnesses to tell us the truth and nothing but the truth, because the consequences of that will be contempt of parliament, perjury, and those are criminal offenses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very valid. Honorable senators, we need to start this session. We need to start the session. And just following on what the Honorable Senator for Homa Bay has said, we are here to hear nothing but the truth. And the only way we can be able to get the truth is when statements are made under oath. And therefore, Clerk, I'm told that the chairperson of IPOA is not in, but the deputy is present. Is that the position? Clerk, honorable senators, this question is to the clerk. Allow him to respond for purposes of the record. I'm informed that the chairman IPOA did write a letter indicating that he will not be in a position to be with us today, but he has sent his deputy in his stead. Before we start, kindly, clerk, administer the oath to the team, and thereafter I will call upon Senator Eddy, the mover of this business, to take to the floor. No.
The Speaker will advise. Yeah.
Clerk, kindly proceed to administer the oath. We will start, of course, with the CS, who is the head of the team.
Will you take an oath or affirmation? An oath. An oath. So you read this text and put your name, your right hand will hold the Bible, and you put your hand on the Constitution over here.
Which one?
This
okay.
Yes.
I, Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate, this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yes, followed by the IG.
Hello, Mr. IG. Will you take an oath or affirmation? An oath you take with the Holy Book on your hand. An affirmation you just raise your hand. Which religion do you ascribe to? I'm a Christian. You're a Christian, so you hold the Bible on the right hand, and your left hand will be in the Constitution. Just place on it, then you'll insert your name here, and then read the text of the oath.
I, Douglas Kanja, the Inspector General, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. That's all.
I, Poa.
Good morning. Will you take an oath or affirmation? The oath you take with the Holy Book. Are you a Christian, Muslim? Christian. All right. So you hold the Bible on your right hand, and your left hand will be on the Constitution. You will read and insert your name here and read the full text.
Except this,
Yeah, the cancelled one you don't read.
I, Anne Wanjiku Mwangi, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matter before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
The National Police Service Commission.
Good morning. Good morning. Will you take an oath or affirmation? The oath you take with the Holy Book? Yes. I will take the oath. Okay, so you place your left hand here. Are you, which religion do you ascribe to? Christian. Christian. So raise the Bible on your right hand, then you read the Constitution, then you read this text, insert your name here.
I, Edwin Kiprono Cheluket, Vice Chairperson, National Police Service Commission, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. That's all.
The DCI. No, Honorable CS, the DCI was not among the parties that we had invited to appear. In the event that he's going to give any information to the Senate, we will allow him to take the oath. Proceed, DCI.
Yeah, good morning. So will you take an oath or affirmation? An oath. An oath. So you hold the holy book on the hand. Yeah. You have the Quran. Okay. Yeah. So you will insert your name here and read the full text. Raise your and your left hand on the Constitution.
I, Mohammed Amin, the Director of Criminal Investigations, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. That's all.
Now, honorable senators, having administered oath to the parties that we've invited, I will now call upon the Senator for Migori County, Senator Eddie Okech, to take to the floor, him being the person or the senator who actually brought this matter before the House. Now, Honorable Eddie, and also to all honorable senators, let us avoid speeches. Straight to the question that you wish to get responses. Let's avoid speeches so that we avoid wasting a lot of time. And honorable CS with your team, if you get an opportunity to respond, please keep it concise, straight to the point also, so that we save on time. Honorable Eddie, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a request for a statement on the unfortunate death of Albert Omondi Ojwang while under police custody. Mr. Speaker, sir, once again, I do rise, pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1, to seek a statement from the Committee of National Security, which now has informed this, on a matter of national concern regarding the tragic death of Mr. Albert Omondi Ojwang, who is a resident of both Migori and Homa Bay counties under police custody. And Mr. Speaker, sir, desirably so, in this statement, Mr. Speaker, I noticed that the death of Mr. Ojwang has caused widespread grief and outrage within the country. And Mr. Speaker, the late Mr. Ojwang sustained fatal head injuries while in police custody at the Central Police Station in Nairobi, following his arrest by police officers in Homa Bay County, raising serious concerns and questions about police brutality, abuse of authority, and the lack of immediate accountability by the responsible officers. Mr. Speaker, therefore, in this committee, the following should be addressed. The circumstances that led to the death of Mr. Albert Omondi Ojwang, including a detailed account of the events surrounding his fatal injury. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we would wish to know actions taken by the National Police Service and the Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, to investigate the incident, including whether any officers involved have been interdicted or subjected to disciplinary or criminal proceedings. And, Mr. Speaker, we would also wish to know the measures the Ministry of Interior and the National Police Service are implementing to prevent police brutality and ensure accountability, particularly in handling civilians during law enforcement operations. And Mr. Speaker, two specific elements of this, if you allow me, is in this sitting, we want to be very clear on who, in the eye of the minister and or the CS,
who, in the eye of the IG, are the suspects in this matter, so that in an issue of murder that has ensued, we've seen when our colleague died here, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ngondo Were, may his soul rest in peace. Mr. Speaker, the people who were termed as suspects were put in custody, and then even if investigation were going on, they did statements while in custody. Why is this different? That's a question that must be answered. And then the last one, Mr. Speaker, the IG of police informed the nation that the young man who has died, Albert, hit his head on the wall, which therefore suggested that he killed himself. It is important.
I am, as a parent, as a citizen of this republic, and as the person with the responsibility of presiding over this important ministry of government, Mr. Speaker, it is regrettable that such an act happened in our nation, particularly in the hands of the police officers. Speaker, I'd like to send my personal condolences to the family of Mr. Albert Ojwang, to his father, to his mother, to the wife, to the only child, Mr. Speaker, and the entire family, and to promise them that, Mr. Speaker, as a government official, I will cooperate, I will put every effort within my ministry to ensure that justice is served to this family, and, Mr. Speaker, that those who were involved in this action, Mr. Speaker, will be punished severely so that it becomes an example that, Mr. Speaker, such an act should not happen within a police custody. Mr. Speaker, I know this is not an isolated issue. The issue of police brutality has been part of our national discourse for far too long. Mr. Speaker, yesterday there was no mechanism for holding police officers accountable. But, Mr. Speaker, a few years ago, with the enactment of the new constitution and the establishment of institutions of accountability, Mr. Speaker, we now have a mechanism of holding police officers into account. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, courtesy of that legal framework and the people of Kenya under their constitution, Mr. Speaker, a number of police officers who have performed, who, Mr. Speaker, have committed such heinous acts have been held into account. And, Mr. Speaker, we all remember that in 2013, there was the case, Mr. Speaker, of Mr. Martin Kome, who was killed in the same manner like Mr. Albert Ojwang. And, Mr. Speaker, he was the suspect was brought to justice because of this process of accountability. We know that there is a process of accountability on the case of Baby Pendo. We also know, Mr. Speaker, that the murder of my friend Wakili Kimani in 2016, again, those who performed that act were brought to justice, Mr. Speaker. I want to promise the family of Mr. Albert Ojwang, the people of Kenya, and this august House, that, Mr. Speaker, every effort will be put, Mr. Speaker, every resource that is required, where the ministry is required to provide resources, Mr. Speaker, for these investigations, and any support the investigators will require, we will do our best to make sure that, Mr. Speaker, justice is served to this family. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House of Article 245 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the 245(4) of the Constitution is very clear, Mr. Speaker, that the Cabinet Secretary responsible for police service, which in this situation is myself, Mr. Speaker, may lawfully give direction to the Inspector General with respect to any matter of policy for the National Police Service. Mr. Speaker, as a result of this provision, we have enough legal framework, we have policy framework, Mr. Speaker, that as the police service are under proper guidance, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that this issue of police brutality is dealt with. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to read the proviso, Mr. Speaker, to that very important provision, that Mr. Speaker, in respect, but no person, including the CS, may give direction to the Inspector General with respect to investigation of any particular offense or unoffenses, Mr. Speaker, the enforcement of the law against any particular person or persons, And 3, Mr. Speaker, the employment, assignment, promotion, suspension of dismissal of any member of National Police Service. Mr. Speaker, we all know that because of our robust constitutional order, the independence of institutions is an extremely important value to insulate the National Police Service from interference from the executive. Even the President, Mr. Speaker, is barred from giving directions to Inspector General of Police in regard to any investigations that are going on in a particular matter. So my position, Mr. Speaker, is confined in law to the place where I give either policy directions that must be put in writing under Article 245 of the Constitution, and, Mr. Speaker, also to provide support, financial support, Mr. Speaker, and other resources that the Parliament, Mr. Speaker, has also the responsibility to provide these resources through the relevant institutions. So I sympathize with the position of Honorable Eddie. Mr. Speaker, I agree with him that something has to be done. But, Mr. Speaker, he has asked a very pertinent question as to who is the culpable person through my eyes. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the Constitution did not give me the eyes to see who is culpable. Those eyes have been given to the investigatory authorities under 245 of the Constitution, and that is why you rightly invited me, but also invited the independent institutions, Mr. Speaker. I'm confident, and this is the promise I give to the people of Kenya, that we will do everything within the means to ensure that there is no interference, there is no shielding of any individual, there is no cover-up, Mr. Speaker, from the part of the executive, and that, Mr. Speaker, that the Inspector General of the Police and the Independent Police Oversight Authority, which again, Mr. Speaker, in Article Section 4 of the IPOA Act, have been given independence, Mr. Speaker, in all matters of investigation regarding matters related to police brutality and police Mr. Speaker, crimes committed by police officers. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, should questions arise that touch on policy issues, that touch on the ministry's policy contribution, Mr. Speaker, I am more than happy to respond. But I am glad to note that, Mr. Speaker, we have with us the Inspector General of Police, who exercises that independent authority, Mr. Speaker. We have here with the IPOA, and, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed, Mr. Speaker, that the Inspector General of Police is going to therefore delve into the matter itself of what really happened so that this House can get the proper information. And then as a Cabinet Secretary, I will continue with my oversight responsibilities from the ministry side with policy directions and to respond to this House on those issues that are policy in nature. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, therefore, I would like to invite the Inspector General of Police to first give us really an account of what really happened. And, Mr. Speaker, let it be known, not just to this House, but to the country, that in the same manner that this House is demanding accountability, is the same manner I demand accountability from the Inspector General of Police, not to myself, but to the people of Kenya through this office, because this is the office of the CS that in most cases comes to this House and many forums to respond to the issues that are happening in the Inspector General's office. The same way the news of the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang is the same way I received with a lot of pain, Mr. Speaker. And I would never want this issue to continue because, Mr. Speaker, and I would never want this issue to continue because I sat, Mr. Speaker, where Senator Cheriot, Majority Leader, sits. And I sat behind there, Mr. Speaker, where Senator Chuto sits in the last Parliament. And, Mr. Speaker, there were cases of police brutality, including of arresting our colleagues in this House. My name and my report is on the record of this House, in the hands of this House, really advocating for good behavior among the police officers. And I think, Mr. Speaker, even as we push it from the executive, I expect the same support from this House as we push on
Order,
the police side.
Honourable Senators,
Mr.
may
Speaker,
the CS be heard in silence. Conclude, Honourable CS.
This accountability, Mr. Speaker, is not negotiable. It is not debatable. Mr. Speaker, we expect every national police officer who was involved in this matter to be brought to justice expeditiously. Mr. Speaker, may I now invite the IG to make a statement.
Senators will have an opportunity to speak. Allow Senator Sifuna, you cannot tell me no. You are trading on very dangerous ground, Senator Sifuna. Allow the IG all the senators, you'll have an opportunity to speak. Allow the IG to take to the floor. IG, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm here before this House courtesy of the invite that was done yesterday to address the...
Honorable Senators, the minority leader and the majority leader approach the chair. Senator Sifuna, do not approach the chair. Minority leader and the majority leader to approach the chair. Order, honorable senators, please let us take our seats. Let's take our seats, honorable senators. Senator Boni, Senator Boni and Senator Fernandi. Okay, honorable senators, we can now proceed. So, honorable senators, we had the IG on his feet before we started the consultations. I'm happy the consultations are now over. The IG, you may now take the stand. Now, honorable senators, you will have an opportunity to ask questions to all these. So, IG, you may proceed, please. Senator Boni, just approach the chair.
Instituted in the ministry that is working on the reform program. I have also asked a team, my own team in my own office, to look at all the legislation on issues of abductions and extrajudicial killing, if there are also areas that we need to close the gap to make sure that at least internally from our police force, there is no possibility of any person involving them. Mr. Speaker, if I get areas where it needs legislative reform, I will come back to this House for support. Mr. Speaker, I agree with her that in one way or another, we must support Albert's family. And I hope that those who will be found culpable also will be held into account, Mr. Speaker, over and above us just supporting from as government and also all of us who are sitting here, perhaps from our own calling and generosity. Mr. Speaker, there was also a suggestion from Senator Dulo that we may need to look at the use of the computer misuse law. Mr. Speaker, we were here, we debated this law, there were issues, it went to High Court, it went to Court of Appeal, where it is at the moment. Mr. Speaker, some of those issues, we can relook at them. Mr. Speaker, even the team that I've constituted in my office, I've told them to look at all the decisions of the courts, including Justice Ogola's rules, among others, Mr. Speaker, on how to handle a suspect, so that then we can see if we are getting the standing orders or we are coming up with new regulations that will make sure that our police service is a bit, Mr. Speaker, up to date. Mr. Speaker, I know that I have been asked whether I should run away from this responsibility. Mr. Speaker, for the 6 months I've been in this office, nearly 6 months I've been in this office, the effort and the energy I've put to revamp this ministry, Mr. Speaker, gives me hope that in the near future we will see the fruits of this responsibility. Mr. Speaker, I know that in moments like this, like those who went before me, and others who have other responsibilities, Mr. Speaker, these are the moments that the duty to serve overrides, Mr. Speaker, the condemnation to throw in the towel. It is important as a leader, when you are faced with challenges, to provide solutions. If you become the kind of a leader that runs away from solutions, Mr. Speaker, then you miss that opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I've been asked by dear Mr. Nyutu Senator Nyutu and Senator Kalwale, Mr. Speaker, the question of why, Mr. Speaker, I should not ask the DIG Langat to step aside. Mr. Speaker, let me say this, that, Mr. Speaker, this is an ongoing investigation. To the best of my knowledge so far, the information we only have is that the Deputy Inspector General of Police, despite being the DIG, took the step to report what he thought was an act of or a crime committed against him. And Mr. Speaker, went as low as reporting this to the DCI, and that investigation was done. And in the process of this investigation, somebody has died. Mr. Speaker, nobody has told me here whether the investigations lead to a particular result, whether it is to protect him or to exonerate him or to charge him, Mr. Speaker, is not my responsibility. That responsibility rests with independent police oversight authority if they find any culpability, Mr. Speaker. The rule of law demands from all of us, God forbid, should a senator here, at the rank of minority leader, for example, report a case to the police, suspect is arrested and dies in custody. God forbid that the minority leader, someone will say he must take responsibility. In the same breath, Mr. Speaker, there must be a link between the crime and the individual. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I will ask IPOA, and as I said earlier, as the Cabinet Secretary, I will not play a role in pushing for a particular person to be charged or a particular person to be exonerated. The evidence must lead to the suspect, Mr. Speaker. And when we are going for anybody, it must be based on evidence. Otherwise, if we lose that rule of law, people will be taking advantage of such occasions to do the same. Mr. Speaker, ask yourself. I was here in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, when as I said, my friend Kimani was abducted by police officers and killed in Machakos. Mr. Speaker, I was here when the case of Pepe Pendo happened. I was here when Koome happened. Mr. Speaker, the process, even when people thought that there will be no justice, justice was found because the right process was followed by IPOA. I think we should support IPOA to do their job instead of getting ourselves to the direction where the House can direct who should be charged and who not be charged. Mr. Speaker, I was a bit worried. I know there is privilege in the chamber. I was a bit worried when senators divert to the attention of determining who is to be charged and who is not to be charged. Mr. Speaker, it violates the same Article 245 of the Constitution and affects the question of rule of law. What we should be demanding is that every person who will be found culpable, led by the evidence, must be brought to book, regardless of the position, regardless of his relationship with anybody. Mr. Speaker, and the last thing was, there was something to do with reforms again. And to close in, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to assure Senator Haji. Mr. Speaker, when Senator Haji spoke, I was fighting tears because he spoke for all of us and he spoke for this country. Mr. Speaker, the life of Albert Ojwang is as painful, Mr. Speaker, as the life of Father Alois, who was killed by criminals. It's also as painful as the life of that person killed in Garissa. It's the same as the ones who died in Todonyang where I visited recently, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, in the national security architecture, we take every life seriously. We are glad that there is an opportunity today to discuss the question of the life of Mr. Albert Ojwang. I do not take it away from those who brought it to this chamber. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the country that we take the same seriousness in every other life, just like the case of Albert. And I hope that also this chamber and the Republic will be conscious to deal with these issues when they come before us. Mr. Speaker, I remain seized of this matter. I will remain accountable to this House, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm ready and willing to ensure that I respond to all the questions that this chamber. Mr. Speaker, in any case, in the statement I was going to bring to this House, there are also very weighty issues about abductions and police brutalities and citizens killing during protests last year. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker, when we get the time to come back again, these issues will have to be ventilated based on the responses that we are going to bring to this chamber. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now we are going to hear responses from the IG. IG, you mentioned the name of the senator and the question and proceed to respond so that we save on time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. The honorable members of the Senate. Let me start by saying that I appreciate you very much. The questions that were raised here, they are questions that are weighty. They are questions that are very valid. They are questions that are also going to assist us, even when we are looking at our standard operating procedures and so forth. So I really, really appreciate your contribution, the questions that you asked. They are very, very important to us. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say that when I was being vetted by Parliament, I did inform the Parliament that I will operate within the frameworks of the law. And I demanded the same from my officers, the members of the National Police Service, to operate within the frameworks of the law. That is the reason why myself as the Inspector General and the leadership of the National Police service. We are pained by the loss of the late Ojwang in our police cells there. We are pained. As a parent, I'm also pained for losing young Ojwang. I feel pained. Now, when we go to the questions, the first question was by Honorable Senator Okeshi. The circumstances that led to the death of the late Albert Ojwang. These circumstances are being investigated by IPOA. And as my CS has said, let us give IPOA an opportunity so that they can quickly be able to investigate and tell us openly exactly what really happened. Number two, there was this report of Albert having hit his head against the wall. That is the information that came, the primary information that came from the same station. But in the subsequent press briefing that I did, that was rectified, and in fact, we can even be able to see it very, very clearly by the results of the investigations. There was this question that was asked by Honorable Senator Medho. Why was he taken to Baghdad Kenyatta National Hospital, which probably could be? Let me say, there was the question from for Bonharwere. That one has been answered by my CS, answered by my CS. Then the question from Honorable Senator Manzayo, why Albert Ojwang was arrested in Homa Bay and why he had to be transported up to Nairobi. This question, the DCI is going to answer it very, 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 very clearly as to the reasons why he was transported from Homa Bay up to Nairobi. But basically, it is because in Nairobi, that is where the offense was actually committed, but DCI is going to give more detail on that. Why the CCTVs were again interfered with? That is and also asked by Senator Masayo. The Independent Police Oversight Authority is investigating the entire scene of crime. And they are going to tell us exactly what happened with the CCTVs. And if there is anyone who was involved in that, then punishment must be meted to an officer of that nature. So the same case applies to the question, who are these police officers who committed the crime of murder to the late Albert Ojwang? Again, we are waiting for answers from IPOA, who are right now investigating the same. And we are looking forward to the resolution of that issue soonest possible, because it's something that have actually captured the entire country into.
That was the question the Honorable Senator asked. If you're unable to do it, you can also, that's also an answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On that question, let me say this. Number one, if in the ongoing investigations by the IPOA investigators, we get to know the truth, the
officers who issued the initial report that we relied upon, then they will have to face disciplinary proceedings as provided for by the regulations by providing incorrect information. So we are awaiting the outcome of the investigations of IPOA in that.
IG, we've had the benefit of hearing the representative of IPOA in the morning, and they were very categorical on what caused the death of this young man. What more do you want to hear?
Mr. Speaker, sir, from what we have heard here from the IPOA, although we have not yet gotten that report, we will proceed on and take appropriate measures on the officer who gave the primary report on that material day.
We have taken note. IG, proceed.
Then there was also the second question.
Honorable Senators, I think we are doing pretty well now. We are doing very well. What is your intervention, Honorable Mungatana? Now, IG, the reason why you are attracting a lot of intervention is because you do not want to open up and just tell the senators exactly what happened. We are here to hear the truth. Just give us the truth, and there'll be minimal interventions. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of